Good evening, friends. Is it I'm audible? Audible and visible? Welcome to Aptiplusss. Today, we are, we are going to discuss about the, the today's presented budget and the economic survey, the analysis of Indian economy with respect to 24-25 and the forecast of 25-26, that is the budget. As we know that the economic survey, first, if I want to give the introduction about economic survey, so what is this economic survey? Why economic survey is important in terms of, economic analysis. As we know that India, after independence, they started developing the economy. As they started developing the economy in terms of what? The investment, consumption, whatever, the various economic activities. So to analyze the previous year economic activities and the overall the macroeconomic activities, the government started presenting presenting a document called economic survey every year. This year, yesterday, that is 31st January 2025, the finance minister tabled the economic survey, which explained about economic activities and overall what were the issues related to Indian economy of 2024-2025. So with the help of that, even we prepared as an institute Aptiplus, we prepared the important slides with respect to economic survey and with respect to the budget. What are the important things the government is planning with respect to 25-26, and what are the economic activities which are taken place in 24-25, and how Indian economy experienced in 2024-2025. Is there any uncertainty, or is that those uncertainty is creating a problem for Indian economy? And what are the suggestions the economic survey is giving? What are the changes the Indian Indian government has to change? All this we are going to discuss in the session. The first one, so we are starting with economic survey. So we divided the whole session like this. First, we'll try to concentrate on important points related to economic survey. We'll try to discuss how this economic survey is explaining about what are the things happened in 2024, 2025. What are the things which are going to be happened in 24, 25, 2026? What are the major reforms the government of India has to take in 25, 2026? Because with respect to 2024, 2025 only, the government, that is with the help of Chief Economic Advisor, has explained that what are the changes they have to make. So I hope so. Is that once again, is that I'm audible and visible? With the help of that, we'll move to next slide. See, as we know that, this year economic survey, again, the same thing, whatever we explained about, there's the first slide is explaining about what is economic survey. So if you require, it's an annual report. As I told you that it's a comprehensive reform, like I can say comprehensive overview of what country's economic performance related to previous year. Don't get confused. Budget will be the forecast of next year, that is 25, 28, 26, where the government is going to generate the revenue, where the government is going to spend the money, and what are the new policies they are going to launch for 2025, 2026. Is that new policies will be require what much of grant? All this will be explained in budget. But economic survey is going to review the previous year, previous year, India's economic performance, and is that economic performance, is that any problem is there? If that there is a problem, how to solve that problem? Is that the same problem will come next year also? If the same problem will continue in the next year, what are the things the government of India has to take, or the government has to take? That is what explained by what your economic survey. And as we know that it is prepared by what economic division of the Department of Economic Affairs, which operates under what Ministry of Finance. And basically, even though it comes under Department of Economic Affairs, it is prepared by mainly the whole idea of economic surveys comes under what Chief Economic Advisor. Presently the Chief Economic Advisor is our Ananta Nageshwaran. So he prepare basically he present the prepare the economic survey, and Finance Minister will present the economic survey in the Parliament. We'll move to next slide. See, in the next slide, so we divided whole economic survey topics into what chapters from them. As we know that this year economic survey is having 13 chapters. The first chapter is talking about state of economy. See, in this chapter they're talking about what is the growth rate of Indian economy. See, is that what was the last year India's growth rate, and this year in what rate India will grow? That is what they're talking about. See, in this slide, again, we have mentioned only the important points, but if you analyze the economic survey, Bhagat Singh, good evening, don't worry. Just continue. Good evening, good evening. Already we wished everyone, so it's a live class. We'll continue, sir. We don't waste time. Now the first question arises is, so first one, state of economy, they're talking about what? How Indian economy, okay, before COVID and after COVID, that is post-COVID, that's the first one. In post-COVID also, they are not taking 2020, 2021, 2022, the R 2022, 2023. Directly, they are taken about what? 23, 24 and 24, 25, the present financial year, which is going on. And next year, the projection of next year. See, they are talking about that in this financial year, that is 24, 25, Indian economy will grow at a rate of 6.4. There's a, remember, real GDP will grow at a rate of 6.4. Remember, we had to get the data. Why? Because as we are in the month of February, we need, okay, another 2 months, because still the financial year is not completed, but the economic survey is saying that we will grow at a rate of 6.4. Now, with respect to this, sir, is this good rate? Yes, sir. See, because if you analyze the economic survey is saying that in 24, 2025, okay, so almost in the world, the average GDP will be 3.2%. Remember this. Average GDP will be, real GDP only 3.2%. But Indian economy is growing. Indian economy will grow at a rate of what? 6.4. What is the meaning of it? Double. So even the world average is 3.2, but India is growing at a rate of, India will grow at a rate of 6.4, means what? Double. And even within the advanced economy, sir, if you consider the advanced economy, even in advanced economy, the growth rate will be 1.7%. If you analyze economic survey, you'll come across this, just 1.7, but India 6.4. See, but emerging market or developing economics like India and other countries, average, including China, Argentina, Brazil, Russia, the average growth rate will be 4.2. But within that average, the India's is number one. Even recently, IMF is also, okay, changed the forecast of what? India's growth rate. IMF has forecasted that India will grow at a rate of 6.5 in 24, 2025. But economic survey has reduced the growth rate because of, as we know that in the second quarter of this financial year, 2024, 2025, second quarter, Indian economy has grown only at a rate of 5.4. 5.4, lesser than 6%. After 11 quarters, for the first time, Indian economy had, okay, almost 5.4% growth rate, second quarter. So what about third quarter? Third quarter data is yet to released by your NSO. That's why we don't know. Because of that reason, your economic survey, okay, has predicted that this year will grow at a rate of what? 6.4. And why? Even they had given the, again, example also, why, sir? So basically, there are two reasons, sir. Two reasons. Sir, in India, mainly this year, the manufacturing sector is facing a lot of, okay, pressure from. First one is weak demand in the international market. Global demand is very low. Why? Again, the same story. Because in the global level, okay, including America, they're having economic slowdown. There's some people are predicting that, even economic survey in the next chapters, they're predicting that this year there will be a, okay, so recession in America. We expect that it should not be happen. Why? Because if there is a global demand is less, our export will less. Export is less means what? Our manufacturing sector growth will less. As our growth will be less, which means what? So employment opportunity will be less. As the employment opportunity will be less, again our GDP growth rate will be less. Not only that, even domestical seasonal factors. So domestical level in manufacturing sector, because of the, as we go for buying the goods and services, mainly manufacturing sector goods only for particular season. The off season will not go for buying the goods, okay, mainly manufacturing goods. So manufacturing sector is not having good growth this year, that is 24, 25. Because of these reasons, next year, that is 25, 2026, the government, that is economic survey, has predicted that the GDP will grow at a rate between 6.3 to 6.8. See, they did not give an exact number. Why they did not give an exact number? That's what. See, they may predicted that it may grow between 6.3 to 6.8. It may come at 6.4 also, 6.8 also. But prediction that it may go up what? Up to 6.8. Based on the current situation, it may go up to what? 6.8. So this is what they're talking about, first chapter, which is called as what? State of economy. So we will move to second slide, because second slide they're talking about what? Okay, before moving towards second slide, sir, there is one question. Okay, so again, you can answer this. Consider the following statements about the global economy. Don't worry, we have given the answer there only. Global manufacturing slowdown due to supply chain disruption. Yes. Basically, at the international level or in the global level, sir, there is a supply chain disruption is going on because of various reasons. In many countries, okay, as the countries are having slowdown, okay, because of the slowdown, okay, so automatically there is no demand. First question. Second, see, there is supply chain disruption is because of your Red Sea issue, Panama Canal issue. Okay, so because of that, there is a supply disruption. Yes, correct. Services inflation remained persistent despite easing inflationary pressure. Yes. See, in India, with respect, sorry, in the world, with respect to services, inflation remained persistent. Okay, even though many countries have taken, sir, many countries have went for what? Okay, relaxing, which means what? They are following expansionary monetary policy, easy monetary policy, whatever you call. We know that easy, expansionary, dovish, all are same. So, which means what? Even most of the countries to increase the economic activities, they are following dovish monetary policy, easy monetary policy, but still economic activities are not picking up. Now, third statement, central banks have adopted uniform monetary easing policies globally. No. There are some countries that are taking easy monetary policy, but there are some countries that are not taking easy monetary policy. Take example, India, sir. India, even though we know that inflation is almost at the rate of 6%, okay, so it is a high time for RBI to increase what repo rate. But as you know this, okay, from past 1.5 years, RBI is not changing the monetary policy at all. They are not following easy monetary policy. Even they are not following tight monetary policy also, because they know that if they follow tight monetary policy, it will affect the economic growth. That's why what they are doing, accommodative monetary policy, which means they are not increasing, they are not decreasing also. So all the central banks adopted uniform. So that's wrong, sir. So as most of the countries are sovereign countries, they follow based on their economic, okay, parameters to decide is that they have to follow easy monetary policy or tight monetary policy. So this is with respect to first chapter. See, I'll just conclude the first chapter like this. In the state of economy, okay, they're talking about so how India's GDP will be. First one. Second, what will be the global GDP? Is it global GDP will increase or decrease? And what about emerging economies GDP? Even they had given one flow chart also. If you check it out, economic survey, they had given one flow chart also. Okay. You can copy that flow chart to have the points while writing in the means. Otherwise, prelims clay just have the okay information only this much. Okay, we'll move to next slide, sir. So in second chapter, there is next chapter, they're talking about monetary and financial sector development. This is highly important in terms of what? This year prelims, sir. Why? See, most of the questions in the prelims come from what? Your monetary and financial sector developments only. Now, this is the topic this year, sir, for the first time, okay, it is explaining, okay, how NPA of the scheduled commercial banks is reducing. Sir, almost remember, okay, you know that, okay, in 2018 and 19, sir, Indian banks were having, scheduled commercial banks were having 11.2% of, okay, NPA. Gross NPA was 11.2%. Many banks were suffering. I hope so you people remember, in 2015-16 economic survey, it has called as twin balance sheet syndrome. Why? Because banks were having NPA. Even the companies are also having what? Loss. The companies are unable to repay the okay loan they have taken from what? Banks. Banks are suffering from loss. NPA is more. So, but from that situation, twin balance sheet syndrome to now, okay. So post-COVID, sir, all last year, all the Indian scheduled commercial bank within commercials are PSBs, mainly PSBs. Their profit has doubled like anything, sir. Compared to previous year, the profit of the scheduled commercial bank within that, your okay, our public sector banks have doubled. Sir, how you say this? So read the first what the line we mentioned. Gross NPA, okay, ratio of scheduled commercial bank declined to a 12-year low, 2.6% by September 2024, reflecting the improved asset quality. What it shows, sir? If NPA is less means what? Asset, okay, asset is what? Good. Asset means what? Your loan is good. Loan means good. Loan good good means what, sir? Okay, so people are paying the EMI. So if the people are paying the EMI, what is the meaning of it? So which means economic activities are good, not bad. Okay, not bad. So that is one thing you have to remember, sir, because even so we have given that flow chart also. What this is the same thing that given in the economic survey with respect to financial stability report ka. So they had given the flow chart. You can see that. See how it was in the post-COVID also. It was almost 7%, above 7%. Orange color is, it's again indicating above 7%. Now it came down to 2.6%, sir. It's a good one. Second, sir, even in the financial sector, insurance sector, sir. When I say insurance sector, okay, when I say insurance sector, day by day the insurance sector is growing like anything. Okay, when I say insurance sector is growing like anything, okay, so sir, how comes our insurance sector? Both, okay, in terms of what? Okay, general insurance, in terms of what? Health insurance, all the sector, okay. So within the insurance there are many, like we have what? Two types of insurance: life insurance and general insurance. So life, we know that for our life we'll take the insurance policy. General insurance means what? It may be vehicle insurance, it may be what? Okay, health insurance, it may be asset insurance like your jeweler insurance, all this. Now, sir, post-COVID, there is a, okay, people started having, okay, idea about what? Insurance. Post-COVID. See, we call it as what? Insurance penetration. Insurance penetration. So day by day, insurance penetration is increasing like anything. That is the best thing you can explain. Economic survey is explaining with respect to what? Insurance sector grow by 7.7% in financial year 2024, reaching 11.2 lakh crore premium. Remember this. So it shows what? Financial inclusion is taking place. Not only that, even pension sector under the national pension system, Atal Pension, okay, Yojana, all this, the subscribers are increasing because, see, it shows that people are having more and more financial knowledge, financial awareness. People are getting financial awareness. They feel that what is the importance of savings? Why I have to save my money for my retirement? Why I have to save my money for future expenditure? So because of that, insurance and even your, okay, pension system, all this premium collection is increases means what? See, you have to say only one thing. In the prelims, if they go for asking like this, means then nothing to worry about, okay, these issues. So in the prelims, if they ask, okay, is that in 2024 there is an increase of insurance sector, it shows that there is an increase of financial inclusion. Yes. Is it okay? So almost 783 point lakh, okay, subscriber with respect to what? Atal Pension Yojana and NPS, National Pension System. That is what this chapter. And overall this chapter, sir, it is talking about even not only this. If you, again, I'll just add some more points with respect to this slide. This chapter is also talking about capital markets, the financial markets, the capital market. See, they have given one flow chart also, sir. According to this flow chart, it says that by the end of December 2024, India is having 18.3 crore, 18.5 crore demat accounts. 18.5 crore demat account, and last year alone, 33% increase in the demat account. 33%. So it shows what? So more and more young population, the youth population, okay, is interested to enter the financial market. It may be equity market, or it may be debt market, it may be bullion market, that is gold market, it may be forex market, any market, sir. Okay, as they're entering more and more, so it shows that, okay, say obviously, sir, if you want to have a, okay, investment in the financial markets or capital market, you should have a demat account. So 18.5 crore according to economic survey by December 2024. It shows that, okay, it's a good sign. That is, people are, okay, entering the financial market. Not only that, it also says that, okay, 11.1 lakh crore is mobilized from primary market this year. From April to December, because economic surveys have a data till December only, because by November they'll start compiling the data. They have a data till December. It shows that 11.1 lakh crore is mobilized from primary market. Is it okay? 11.1 crore. It shows that even people are buying the IPOs. Yes, IPOs are issued in the primary market. Even companies are issuing more and more IPOs every day. At least one company or two companies are registering to raise the capital with help of what? Issuing the IPO. So that is what this chapter is talking about, sir, related to financial market, how even how the government is supporting. Even there is an article in this economic survey. I still remember they had given about data about RRBs. How many, okay, RRB branches are there? Okay, like almost they had given that 22,069 branches in 700 districts of India, and most of the, okay, these RRBs are again having almost 14% of the total branches of total banks in India, like including commercial bank, PSB, all this, like that. They have given the data which shows that how we are entering, okay, more and more 100% financial inclusion. Is it okay? So we'll move to next slide. This is the second chapter related issue. Then we'll move to second slide. Okay, sorry, next slide. What is the likely effect to decline in the gross non-performing ratio? Same thing. So if you remember, see, NPA will reduces only when the banks are having what? More profit. Correct? When the banks are having more profit, okay, automatically NPA will what, sir? Reduce. When the profit will reduces when the people are paying NPA. Correct? Sorry. When the people are paying what? EMI. So automatically NPA will reduces. That is the answer. So we'll move to next one, sir. Next slide. There is a next chapter. See, next chapter is talking about what? External sector. If you read this topic name, sir, okay, in economic survey, it says that external sector getting FDI right. Getting FDI right. Now, many people have criticized, okay, criticized that so India is moving towards as a neo-colonization country. Okay, how come? Which means what? More and more we are opening more and more sectors for what? Foreign investment. So in the name of foreign investment, okay, it may be a one type of neo-colonization like that. Maybe people will criticize, but country like India, okay, we need foreign investment, okay, to increase the GDP growth and to become okay globalized economy or the developed economy. See, in this chapter, external sector chapter, they're talking about what? Export, import. What is the total export? What is the total import? As we know that, see, here merchandise means what? Goods, man. They also called as merchandise. They also called as visible. Okay, trade invisible means what? Goods. If they say trade in invisible means what? Services. As it says that it is reached to $602 billion. Okay, in the first 9 months of financial year, growing by 6%. It's a good sign. So we have another 3 months. Okay, so the first 9 months, another 3 months we have. So maybe there is the expectation that it will reach to $700 billion. The export may reach to $700 billion. And not only that, almost India is having okay forex reserve of $640 billion as of December, covering nearly 90% of India's external debt. So if India's external debt is 100%, almost we have 90% to cover. Even if someone asks tomorrow, give back our loan, they don't ask like that in the economy. It won't work like that. But still, if they ask, we have 90% of the okay forex reserve which can cover the external debt. But as we know that this is the data related to December. But as we know that from the month of January, there is a completely foreign capital outflow was taken place. Why? Because of the okay American economy, because of the Trump and all this, there is a foreign capital outflow. Maybe if you take the data of January, there is a decrease of forex reserve from 640 to what? Maybe it will reduce to 620 or maybe 610 or 610 or maybe 600 also you can. Okay. But again, as we know that every day it will changes. Okay. Every day it will increase and decrease. So we need not to worry about, but economic survey, what they are given. So just have the data, sir. Now, even FDI related issue, they are talking about what? So almost 18% increases, 17.9, but 18% year on year, you can say. So which is approximately, okay, we have received $55 billion of FDI in the just 8 months, the first 8 months. Okay. But comparatively, the net FDI with respect to what overall, it is a decrease, man, 0.48% decrease. This type of sentence, again, always try to remember because in the prelims, the UPSC wants to play a okay game with the help of what? This type of data. And obviously, sir, everyone know that India will receive the more investment, that is foreign investment, mainly from which sector? Service sector. And second is your computer software. And the state, if, this time they did not mention about the state. Okay. So the state which received the highest investment is what? Maharashtra. That is a common thing. Okay. So even this year also it is Maharashtra only. Highest foreign investment is coming from what? Maharashtra only. And in this chapter only, the again government has economic survey has given some data about what are the steps government of India has taken to increase the export. What are the initiatives government of India has taken to increase the export in like steps like what? We introduced the logistic policy to reduce the okay cost of logistic. We introduced the foreign trade policy 2023. Under that, we are providing various remission, okay, various subsidies. We are promoting ease of doing business. Even okay, economic survey also mentioned about the same basic thing with respect to whatever we discussed in the class. In the class, regular in aptiplusbbsr class, whatever we discussed in the external sector, like what are the steps the government of India has taken to increase the export. Same thing they have mentioned in economic survey. This is continuous, sir. Even previous year also it was there. Even this year also they are mentioning that what are the steps they have taken. So we'll try to look for the question with respect to this sector. In the next slide, we have a question, sir. We'll try to look for that particular question. Now, so which one of the following statement is correct regarding India's FDI inflow in 2025? The net FDI inflow increased sharply due to higher equity inflow. No. Remember, gross NDI inflow rose, but net FDI, that's what? Okay, the sentence is almost $0.48 billion. there is a decline net FDI, net decline. See, there is a decline in the net FDI. So because due to what, repatriation and all this, okay, we could have, okay, avoid this, but because of the repatriation, okay, the net FDI is what, decline. So if you move to next topic, there is the fourth chapter of economic survey. They are talking about prices and inflation. Sir, in the next slide, okay, so there is a chapter called what? Prices and inflation. Say, as we know that this chapter is talking about what? CPI, WPI, and your core and headline inflation. See, it is again, this chapter, it says that why inflations, even though last year I told you that our average of inflation was 6%. Again, economic survey also is saying that inflation is mainly because of what? Food. It's mainly because of food items. So mainly within the food items, if you remember, we have discussed about skewflation in the class. Skew. Within the basket of food item, not all the commodities will have an inflation. Within the basket of commodity, only few commodities will always create an inflation, like what? Our pot commodities, potato, onion, tomato, pulses, okay, edible oil. Even nowadays, edible oil also is creating inflation. But other like cereals and other commodities, food commodities, will not have that much of inflation. That is what economic survey says, that these commodities only, okay, have almost 32% of the, okay, inflation within the food basket, within the food basket. And again, the reason is what? These are what? Perishable commodity. We know this. These are perishable commodity. And they by see, as there is a lot of people or lot of farmers, they, okay, grow only what? Paddy, sugarcane, and wheat in the irrigated land. 60% of the irrigated land in India, okay, is mainly for these commodities only, sir. Sugarcane and your wheat only, and paddy only. Pulses and edible oils are basically rain-fed crops, as it is a rain-fed crops. And last year, that is 2024 2025, even though, okay, people say it's a normal monsoon, no sir, okay, even according to various geography analysts, it says that as we had a El Nino effect in 23-24, that El Nino effect was continued in 2024-2025 also. Because of that, there was a, okay, not normal monsoon, and it affected the production, and because of that, there was a inflation. That is what this chapter is talking about. So we move to next slide, which is, there is a question related to this inflation. Okay, see, in the next slide, okay, we have a question related to this chapter. That is prices in inflation. There is a question. So how does the contribution of vegetables and pulses to food inflation compare to their share in the CPI basket? As we know that in CPI, the major, okay, we know that all, see, approximately for 460 goods and services, we calculate the inflation. Out of, like, if we consider those 460 goods and services for combined for both urban and rural area, with respect to those 460 goods and services, if we consider those 460 goods and services as 100%, out of that 100%, almost 45.8% weightage is given to food items only. As we given more weightage to food items, remember, so overall, if they ask anything, the food items is only more. But if they ask in WPI basket, which items are having more weightage, remember WPI. Because in WPI, we are calculating the, okay, price fluctuation every month for 697. Out of 697 goods, manufacturing goods are having almost, okay, 564, which are having 64% of weightage. That is why in the WPI, manufacturing goods basket will be, in the basket, manufacturing goods will be having more weightage. In this, food weightage will be more, sir. Is that okay? We'll move to next chapter only. Sir, in next chapter, they're talking about what? Industry. Sir, in this chapter, okay, overall they're talking about, okay, see how much China is having a share in the manufacturing, how much India is having. Okay, first one, as the first point only, we have added that. Sir, in the global, okay, manufacturing, China is having almost 30%, 28.8, you add it as 30 only. But India's is just 3%, 2.8 is just 2.8. It says that approximately 3%, very less, sir. That is why we okay, oftenly call China as a what? Manufacturing hub of the world. Manufacturing hub of the world. Sir, economic survey says that, sorry, we have to do a lot of, okay, deregulation, which means what? Labor laws has to be, okay, deregulated. Because as we know that in India, labor laws comes under what? Concurrently subject. So we have to deregulate the labor laws and various rules and regulations. We have to make it ensure that the investors should feel doing in India, doing business should be what? Easy. And moreover, okay, the filing, or I can say getting the IPR, intellectual property rights, it may be patent, it may be trademark or anything. India ranks 6th, but which means what? many people who discover anything, who innovate something, they're unable to register themselves because they don't know the procedure, how to get the IPR certificate for various commodities. Now, and the question is, even comparatively with respect to R&D investment is very less in India, sir. Okay, because in developed countries, including China, sir, private companies will invest more money on R&D. But in India, most of the R&D funding come from what? Government. But government funding is less than 1% of the GDP, sir. Even if I'm not wrong, it is not 1% also. It is just 0.7% of the GDP. Because government has to cater the needs of every sector. Because of that, they are spending less. And private companies are not spending more on what? R&D. Most of the time, what we will do, our companies, they try to get the technology transfer will ho jayega. Okay, so we get the technology, with help of the technology, okay, we'll manufacture here and we'll try to sell in Indian market, or we try to export. Now, almost in the industries, okay, top five, the economic survey has given 4, but commonly they consider top 5. There is Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Telangana. Okay, it was united Andhra, but as Andhra is divided, so they consider Telangana. These are the top 5. Okay, the producer states, including industry, including your overall manufacturing, and including service sector. Okay, so you can say almost 50% of the industrial production come from what? These 5 states, including Telangana. But economic survey has added only 4. You can add Telangana also. So we'll look into the next slide. We check the question related to this industry chapter. India ranks 6th in globally, patent filing, correct? Most R&D funding in India come from private sector. Okay, wrong. Okay, wrong. Most of the R&D funding in India come from what, sir? Government only. India focus on basic research hinders its industrial competitiveness. See, the third statement is correct, sir. But remember, the key answers we have, given wrong. No, key answer is C, 1 and 3 only. So I thought D, that's 1 and 3 only, because most of the R&D funding come from what? Government only. So that is C is the correct answer. So just move to next slide, sir. Now, next slide, within the industry, we have manufacturing sector, and second is what? We have service sector. So as we know that in India, highest contribution come from our economy, the highest contribution come from what? Service sector only, almost 62% to global GDP, and even for India also almost 55%. But the problem with respect to service sector in India is what? Sir, it employs only less people, almost 30% in India, sir. Sir, as we know that agriculture sector, next chapter will come across your agriculture. Sir, agriculture sector contribute just 14 to 15% to the GDP. But it is having almost the workforce, not total population. Don't say for total population. See, almost 55% of the workforce depends on what? 54.6% of the workforce depends on agriculture. So that we have to, which means what? Because as less number of people depends on service sector, but contribution is more means, sir, which means what? Compared to agriculture sector, sir, it leads to income inequality. Okay, it leads to what? Income inequality. And even in the global services export also, almost our share is 4.3%. Okay, the United, obviously, sir, USA export, service sector export is too good, and even their share is almost 13% after your UK and Germany. So India's is 4.3%, which rank 4th. Sorry, which rank 7th. So we'll meet to, we'll try to check the question related to service sector. Sir, in service sector, the question, in next slide, we have a question. So which of the following statements are correct? The service sector contribute 55% to India's GVA in financial year 2025, correct? Gross value added, that is overall. So almost 55%. India ranked 7th in the global service export, correct? The USA leads global service export, yes. Just now we know that. Okay, USA, UK, Germany, top 3. Okay, and India is the 7th one. So we'll move to next chapter, sir. Sir, in the next chapter, that is in next slide, we have agriculture topic. As I told you that after industry, we have what? Agriculture topic. Here in this agriculture and food management, see, last year they say that, sorry, not last year, from 2017 to 2023, they are talking that Indian agriculture sector was, average growth rate was 5%. So remember, it is very less. It is very less. Why? In 2015, as we remember, present government has launched a scheme called what? Doubling the farmers' income by 22-23, the same year, financial year 23. They are going to ensure that farmers will have farmers' income will double. But remember, if you want to double the farmer's income in the same agriculture land, sir, agriculture growth rate should be double digit. That is minimum 10%. But in last 10 years, forget about last year, after independence, Indian agricultural growth rate never achieved a double digit. Okay, so the economic survey says that though in last 6 years we grow at a rate of what, 5%. So which shows what? So we did not achieve the doubling farmers' income. And within the agriculture, sir, more contribution come from what? Livestock. Okay, almost 30% within agriculture GDP, 30% come from what? Livestock. And as you know that now 21st livestock census is going on. Okay, so because of that, try to have some idea about livestock, because presently 21st livestock census 2025 is going on throughout India because of that. And fisheries, so it is talking about, okay, the production has increased from 95 lakh ton in 2014 to 184. Even though we increased to 184, still we are the second largest producer of what? China. And between the China and India, that there's a lot of difference in what? Production. Okay, a lot of difference. And extreme rainfall events in central India rose by 75%, and 2-degree temperature is rise could reduce the productivity by 8 to 12% by 2099. So that is, everyone know this, because we know that in Paris climate change also, they put a target to reduce the global average temperature within 1.5 to what? 2 degree. Why? Because if the temperature increases, so there is a impact on what? Rainfall. There is an increase of what? Sea level. All this may okay affect what's okay, the overall agriculture production. That is what economic survey is giving a high, keeping a high on what, how it is going to affect the production. So we'll see the question related to this chapter, agriculture chapter. Which of the following statement is incorrect regarding the India's agriculture sector? The agriculture sector grew at an average 5% annually from, correct, financial year 17 to 23. Livestock contributed 30% of agriculture GVI in financial year 2023. Fasal Bima Yojana insured 600 lakh hectares in financial year 24. Correct. Rainfall variability has decreased in central India. No. Almost, remember, it says what? 75% is increased. 75% increased. So the D statement is what? Incorrect, sir. So we'll move to next slide, and that is next chapter. See, next chapter is related to our climate and environment. It's, see, as we know that economic survey also add a topic called what? Climate and environment. Okay, because the impact of climate change, the impact of greenhouse gases will always have a direct impact on what? Economic activities. And mainly in this topic, they give, okay, data about what? The energy, what is the total production of energy and all this. So they are talking about that India almost, okay, come with respect to non-fossil fuel capacity. Non-fossil fuel capacity is almost 46.8%. We put a target of, you know that, okay, in Paris summit we have given our NDC, okay, national determined contribution. According to our national determined contribution, we said that by 2030, okay, from the non-fossil fuel we produce, okay, that is total installed capacity will be what? 50%. So we are moving in that, okay, range. That is correct only. And recently we know that every 2 years once forest survey report is also released. According to 2023 report, forests contribute to India's carbon sink, absorbing almost 30 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent in 2023. And as we know that in Paris climate change, okay, again we agreed NDC, and those NDC was changed in the Glasgow, because Modi ji has come up with a Panchamrut. In that Panchamrut also we agreed that we will make net emission as what? 0 by 2070. So this overall, this chapter they're talking about what is India's NDC, what are the 5 target given by Modi ji in the Glasgow summit. Okay, Glasgow summit. So what is the forest cover? What is the total renewable energy target? And all this data they are giving, which are important for film's perspective. So we'll try to check the question related to this chapter. In the next slide, we'll try to, okay, see the question related to this climate and, okay, environment. As we don't have the question directly, we'll move to next chapter called what? Social sector. So social sector mainly related to what? Our health sector, education sector. Okay, how much money, like again, the people are spending monthly expenditure of a family, okay, with respect to what? Consumption and all this. So here the overall social expenditure, okay, has increased. Social service expenditure has increased from 23 to 26. It shows what? So there is a inflation. There is a inflation. Remember this. So see, when there is a inflation, and moreover, even they have taken, economic survey has taken the data about what? Household consumption expenditure survey 23-24. In rural areas, okay, the expenditure has increased to per capita, okay, expenditure has increased to 4122 in the rural area. In the urban area, it is increased to almost 7,000 rupees. Less than 4, like I can say 4 rupees less, it is 7,000 rupees. It is, see, it shows what? Consumption is increasing, but maybe there is other reason that consumption is increasing because of what? Economic growth. But there will be other reason of what? Inflation also. We have to look into that also. That is what economic survey As we know that, see, there is a coefficient called Gini coefficient is there to which measures the income inequality. It says that day by day in India, okay, income inequality is also increasing both in rural area and urban area. Okay, so we'll move to next slide. So in next slide, okay, so again, there is with respect to what service sector only, there is one this diagram they had provided with respect to what universal health care. As we know that government has launched Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, which we also call it as what Ayushman Bharat. Not only that, day by day the government is going for what full like I can say universal immunization program, that is our mission Indradhanush. Okay, not only that, to provide the generic drugs, we have established Jan Aushadhi Kendras, almost 14,000 Jan Aushadhi Kendras. Now under Ayushman Bharat, okay, program, Jan Arogya scheme, this year you know that even above 70 years, okay, senior citizen also eligible up to 5 lakh rupees. Okay, in a family above 70 okay years, that is what they mentioned. Not only that, they mentioned about e-Sanjeevani, which means people can access the okay health services through what mobile or internet. So like that, so that given the data that how we are achieving the universal health care. We'll move to next slide, sir. In next slide, okay, after this health for all, okay, even there is one more I can say diagram in the economic survey, remember. So that given about okay how rural economy is increasing, powering rural economy, that given one flow chart, you can check it out that in the economic survey, check it out that. Now they are given about what employment. This is the 12th chapter, sir. In the 12th chapter, there is a employment and skill development. Okay, so that given. So automatically they are talking about agriculture is the major okay sector where okay more people are dependent on what agriculture. Second is manufacturing. But remember, there is a economic survey says that there is a decline in the number of people depends on what manufacturing. And service sector also there is a small decline from 31 to 27, 29. This data remember for prelims. And remember, and maybe they'll go forward confusing like this. More okay, more women are engaged in agriculture, okay, and more men are engaged in what construction, trade, and transport. So this is also the data we have picked from what economic survey. And the question arises is okay, most of the self-employed workers, okay, monthly earning is increased to what 13,279. It's a good sign. And regular wage and salaried employees average salary rose to what 20,000. Okay, daily wage according to Minimum Wages Act 1948, the average daily wage in India is what 418. Okay, 418. So they have given the data about what is the total employment, and like with respect to what self-employed workers, regular wage workers. Okay, so daily wage workers ka salary kitna? So how much? What is the total salary? And is the salary is increased or not? The data they had given in this chapter. So for the prelims, again, try to have for this year prelims, try to have what? Okay, the data related to this. We'll move to next slide. So in the next slide, that is, I can say the 13th chapter, okay, which is sector has the highest share of women workers in India. That is agriculture. Okay, women workers, almost 65% workers in agriculture is what? Okay, women only, sir. Okay, almost is 65% is what? Women only. So the last chapter is related to what? Labor in the AI era, artificial intelligence era, how the labor are. See, International Labour Organization has released a report called okay, Jobs for Future. Jobs for Future. In that report, it suggested that 75 million jobs could be fully automated with emerging economies like okay, India facing disruption due to their labor-intensive service-driven economy. This is a common one, sir. Sorry, everyone know that the AI okay may okay go for what? Okay, affect the employment opportunity of India. So, is it okay? So in this chapter, they're explaining that how we can go forward using AI as an opportunity and challenges. Both we remember this. Does not mean that AI always create the unemployment. It also create opportunity. How we can utilize that opportunity, okay, which created by AI to provide or to achieve, okay, more and more employment. That is what they're mentioning, okay, in this chapter, sir. So these are the various, I can say the 13 chapters related to what? Economic survey. And we have what? Okay, the next slide is related to budget. See, in the budget, again, welcome to this, like this year, highlights of the budget. Commonly, okay, overview of the budget, if you analyze, this year, okay, the government is concentrating only on, okay, main focus on 4 areas. Agriculture, MSME, because more employment is created through what? MSME only. Third is investment. We have to attract the investment if you want to increase the economic growth. And fourth is what? Export. And this year, the total budget will be what? Approximately 50.65 lakh crore compared to last year. Last year, the budget was 48 lakh crore rupees, and this year almost 50.65. So there is an increase in the budget. And sir, the total, okay, I can say total receipts will be excluding borrowing, almost 35 lakh crore. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. But another 15 lakh crore rupees is borrowing only, definitely. Maybe, okay, non-debt receipts like disinvestment and loan recovery will be another 50 to 60,000 crore. But remaining 15 lakh crore will be your fiscal deficit only. That is borrowing only. Government borrow only. Now, that is what they have mentioned that, see, as we know that this year, 24-25, they put a target that they are going to reduce the fiscal deficit to 4.9. And next year, they put a target that 4.4% of GDP. Now, why they want to achieve within 4.4 or 4.5? I thought they'll put a target of 4.5 because according to 15 Finance Commission, sir, we amended the FRBM Act in 2021. And according to that amendment, we put a target that we are going to achieve the fiscal deficit target, okay, of 4.5% by 2025-2026. So to achieve the target this year, okay, government has put a target that fiscal deficit will be, the borrowing will be approximately 4.4% of what? GDP. That's what I told you. The gross market borrowing will be approximately 14.82 means equals to what? 15 lakh. We'll move to next slide, sir. Sir, in the next slide, see they are given about what? Okay. See where they are going to spend more. Obviously, sir, defense is the major one. Almost this year also it is touching 5 lakh crore. Touching 5 lakh crore, 4.91 lakh crore, it's almost equal to 5 lakh crore. And remember, RD, that is rural development, that home affairs, almost 2. Okay, agriculture, almost 1.771. But I expected that for railway, there will be more, as like last previous 2 years, almost they have spent more than 2 lakh crore rupees. But railway is not there in the top list. So we have to check in other slide, how much they are given to what? Railway. Come to next slide. We have this year, they have announced with respect to what are the initiatives they are going for agriculture sector. See, they have announced a scheme called Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana, which means what? In India, out of 700 districts, approximately odd 700 districts, 100 districts are having low productivity, sir. So they'll go for what? Targeting those low 100 productivity districts where they find almost 1.7 crore farmers. Okay. So the government with the support of credit, providing credit to them. Okay. I can say crops input support like seeds, fertilizers. They try to support them to increase the productivity per hectare productivity. That is what they launched Dhanya Krishi Yojana. And second one is they have launched about mission for Atmanirbhar in pulses. As we know that, see, main culprit, again in economic survey also they are talking about main culprit for the inflation is what? Pulses. So that is why, okay, the government has launched this mission for Atmanirbhar in pulses. That is, it's a 6-year mission, but it's by 2030. So they want to focus on tur dal, urad dal and masoor pulses. And mainly NAFED and NCCF, okay, these are the two statutory bodies under Ministry of Agriculture, will go for procuring the pulses from what? Farmers. And this is the new thing is Makhana board. As we know that day by day the Makhana consumption is increasing. Okay, so that is why the government, for the promotion of more and more Makhana, mainly BR is the largest producer of Makhana, they come up with this. And they also launched a mission called high yield seeds, the hybrid seeds, with respect to develop and commercialize over 100 high yield seed varieties to increase the productivity. And again, with respect to cotton productivity, also they have launched one mission, which is going to increase cotton productivity in next 5 years. And major thing is what? Kisan credit cards are. As we know that under Kisan credit card, farmers were they used to get the loan of 3 lakh, but now it is increased to what? 5 lakh. And not only that, in the northeastern states, in Assam, they announced that they are going to establish one urea industry, that is nitrogen production industry. They are going to establish in a northeastern state called what? Assam. Sir, in the next slide, so as we know that 4 areas they are concentrating. First is agriculture, second is MSME, third is investment, and fourth is what? Export. Second is MSME, sir. As we know that in MSME, see, the government is boosting the MSME, sir. What are the support they are giving? Sir, if you remember, MSMEs are defined based on what? 2 things. One, how much you are investing in MSME, and second is what? Turnover. Remember this. And both are increased to 2.5 and 2 times. Sir, we should wait for further changes in the definition. As we know that if you ask me presently, according to MSME Act 2020, so because it was 2006 MSME Act 2006, but in 2023 का prelims question paper आपके पास है तो check कर लो. So there was a question related to MSME. Sir, with respect to MSME Amendment Act 2020, we uses both the definition based on investment and based on what? Turnover. See, remember, for manufacturing sector, if the investment is up to 25 lakh, it is called as micro. For service industry, it is up to 10 lakh, it is called as what? Micro. Above 10 lakh and above, like less than 2 crore is what? Small industry for service. Like that, there was a separate definition even for turnover. Turnover. See, with respect to what? Turnover also there was a definition, but now the government is going for what? Increasing the turnover and the investment limit. Just wait for official data related to this turnover. And they also said that we are going to establish one fund to support what? Startup companies. 10,000 crore rupees, which means what? Government is going to act as a angel investor. Government is going to act as what? Angel investor. Next, if we move towards again, they are going to establish one food technology entrepreneurship management will be established in Bihar, regular one. If we move towards the third one, third important is what? Investment. Next slide, we have investment, sir. Again, I'm not reading everything. Slides will be shared to everyone. Don't worry. So important points only I'm picking up. See, they're saying that, they're going for a PPP model in infrastructure. Already since 1995, we are having PPP model, and government is going to create one a pipeline for what? PPP projects in which are going to be implemented in next 3 years. Not only that, they are going to extend the Jal Jeevan mission, because providing the tap connection in the rural and urban area by 2024 they put a target, but this year it is extended to what? 2028. So investment, which means both government investment and private investment and foreign investment is promoted, so that they can increase what? They can increase to what? The economic activity. Even in next slide also, next slide, again they're talking about what? Investing in people. So they're going for what? Investing in Atal Tinkering Lab through Niti Aayog, sir. Already in the rural area, in the schools, we have almost 50,000 labs will be set up in the schools, government schools, labs, sir. And Atal Tinkering Labs are established under Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog, where the young minds can go for what? Having their idea can be implemented with the help of what? Lab facilities. So the government is also talking about what? Investing in the people. In the next slide, we have a information related to what? How they are going to boost what? Export. As I told you that, the government is going to increase the export with the help of what? See, one is, there is an expectation that insurance sector limit is going to be increased from what? 74 to 100%. That is what they have done. So which means what? They can completely now, through automatic route only, no government route, automatic route. And not only that, an export promotion mission, will be established. Not only that, Bharat Trade Net for international trade will be unified platform for trade documentation and financing solution. So the government, they feel that, see, if we solve these problems in the export, so maybe investment problem, maybe ease of doing is business problem. If government think that if we provide some support via emissions subsidy, so it will increase the export. That is what they're talking about in this, how to measure, or what are the measures we are taking to boost what? Export. In the next slide, that is the last slide, that is related to what? Tax related. So now this is the expectation. Now why? Just let me explain in 2 to 3 minutes. Try to listen this. So what is this tax related? As we know that this year 24-25, maybe next year also, maybe it will continue. Urban consumption has reduced. So what are you talking about? Yes, sir. People in urban area are not spending the money. Mainly the middle class. Why? Because of various reasons. One is inflation. Second is lack of employment opportunity. Mainly you feel this, you know this, sir, in India now, the main problem is what? Structural unemployment, open unemployment. Both in rural area and urban area. Because of that, consumption is very less. Urban consumption, mainly middle class. So as we know that the people, they used to feel that if they earn 10 lakh or 12 lakh, they were supposed to pay approximately some kuch, again after deduction, exemption or all this, they were supposed to pay kuch 70,000 to 1.5 lakh as a tax only. Now the government went for what? Individual who are earning up to 12 lakh plus Standard deduction of 75,000 rupees, almost 12,75,000 crore will comes under no tax. Now, if there is no tax, sir, what is the advantage? Sir, you will have more money to spend. Is this okay? You'll have more money to spend, which when we have more money to spend, it will increase us what, sir? It will increase the economic activities. Is it okay? So, is this step with respect to tax was required? It may, remember, sir, it reduces the tax collection, mainly income tax collection. May, sir, it may reduces. May. We have to wait. We have to wait. Because the government has put a target. Again, go back to the previous slide. Sir, government has put a target of tax revenue receipt. Tax revenue, total receipt is 35 lakh. But, okay, not this one, don't worry. So I'm talking about the previous slide of economic budget, the first slide of budget. So if you remember, see in that what they said. So this year the total tax will be what? 25. Total revenue will be 35. See, 25 lakh crore rupees is the net tax what the government is going to generate. Even this year also almost that much only. But exemption up to 12 lakh may reduce the tax collection. Yes, may. But it will increase the indirect tax collection. Why? How? Which means when the people have more money to spend, so when they consume more and more goods and service, so automatically indirect tax collection may increase if the government did not increase the tax rate. But if the government go for increasing the indirect taxes rate, that is mainly GST, if the GST council, further it will affect the savings because it will lead to inflation. So if I'm not wrong, GST council will not take that step of what? Increasing the GST because it will affect the consumption. So the steps taken by the government, that is with respect to giving exemption up to 12 lakh plus standard deduction of 75,000, definitely it will make the growth rate of India, whatever they expected, that is 6.3 to 6.8. So it will also reduce the inflation. With respect to all this, there is one thing, sir, if I want to conclude. Is this whatever they estimated, whatever the suggestions which is going to be implemented? Remember, we have to take into consideration of uncertainty, what is going on in the global, sir. Global. With respect to new president in America, or maybe West Asia, how the West Asia will react with respect to what? Trump, or maybe Russia-Ukraine issue. All this matter with respect to Indian economy. Is it okay? Thank you so much for attending the session which we conducted by Aptiplusss. We have the branches in Bhubaneswar and Kolkata. So we are running throughout the year we are running the batches for UPSC. Do join us. Do support. Thank you.